For 2024, Yamaha has released a redesigned line of Pacifica electric guitars that is clearly a shot across the bow at Fender. We're going to tell you all about it, so stick around. Hey, you're watching Alamo Music TV. My name is Chris McKee.
How's it going, guys? My name is Cooper.
We're here with Alamo Music in San Antonio, Texas. You can find us online at alamomusic.com. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, turn on notifications, like our videos. If you want to support the channel, visit our spring store, link it below for custom swag, and check out our podcast. It's called the Fretboard Confessional, wherever you get your podcast. I said that like you did.
Just dude. No more enunciating for me today. I'm done.
Just let it go. Yeah. It's going to be legato discussion.
I'm ready to go. I had that Five Guys about an hour ago. It's nap time.
It's nap time. Yeah. Well, before you go to sleep, something to keep you awake are these amazing new guitars from Yamaha. These are the new Pacificas, which they released at the NAMM show, and we actually got these in as kind of early demos. They are not really in stores yet.
Yeah, but we're gonna have them because they rock.
Spoiler, end of video. No, spoiler alert, these are amazing guitars, and like I said at the outset, you know, is Yamaha making a better Strat than Fender right now? I mean, these are really, really good guitars. We're going to talk about the specs, but they're also doing something, and this isn't the first time they've done this, that I really appreciate with Yamaha. These guitars effectively have the exact same specifications, but they're at different price points because they are made in different factories. You have the new Pacifica Standard Plus that is made in China. Is that correct?
I believe so. I'll find out while you're telling about how that one's made in Japan.
This one's made in Japan. This is the Pro model, or the Yamaha Pacifica Professional.
This one might be Indonesia, but we'll find out.
It's not Japan. That's the point.
This is not Japan.
Yeah. So outside of where they're manufactured and the fact that that one comes with a really nice gig bag and this one comes with a really nice hardshell case, the specifications are the same, and I really appreciate Yamaha doing that. I think I first recognized them doing that on the Red Label acoustic guitars. Yeah. The FX5 and the FX3 are effectively the exact same guitar, or FGX5, FGX3. They're the same guitar, but one is made in China, one's made in Japan. Now, when you compare those side by side, there's a premium feel and there's a sound and so forth. You can kind of pick one out that this is the Japanese one. And so the premium is definitely worth it. I think a similar thing here, but they're still really, really great guitars.
Yeah, they are similar kind of with the Rev Stars. So they revamped the Rev Stars a couple years ago. We got them in like this, like we got some samples, we did the video. They ended up blowing up. Yeah. For sure. Those guitars are awesome. And they have the Element, the Standard, and the Professional. There's no Element of the Pacificas, but they do have, some lower end Pacificas out there that you've seen. You see them in packs and everything. But the Standard Plus and the Professional, similar specs, just like the Standard Rev Star and Professional Rev Star. Great guitars. I think when they first dropped the Rev Stars, we were talking about this earlier, but the pros went crazy. But now everybody's realized how good the value is on the standards. Yep. Like, they are so, so good. Those remain steady sellers and stuff that people like, because also it's a double cut humbucker guitar. It's a little different. This one is a little less different. Yeah. Because this is very familiar to us as an S style.
Well, the tribute is in the name Pacifica, It's certainly an homage to the Stratocaster, first designed in Fullerton, California, now made in Corona. But it's the Japanese version of it from Yamaha, if you will.
Which is also Pacific.
Which is also Pacifica, the Pacifica has been a kind of tried and true model for a long, long time. I think I said in one of our RevStar videos before that overseas in Europe, there seems to be a better appreciation for Pacificas. I've seen actually people on social media say, hey, that are in like the UK, if you're looking for a starter guitar, grab a Pacifica. If you're looking for a nicer guitar, grab a Pacifica. Like, they've been kind of a go-to because of the focus on quality and how versatile they are. And these, I think, take it up a notch.
These definitely do. I'm looking at that one right now, and we'll get into the specs, but the look and kind of the build and everything, it's super clean. I think it reaches more into the territory of the Silver Sky and Sur and like kind of
Super
nicer,
Strat.
yeah, like Strat kind of vibe. Interesting thing about these is both the Standard Plus models and the Pro models are all HSS. But I think it's cool because, like the RevStars, you got some switching options that you can get the single coil sound out of the bridge. But let's just start with the pickups because they're very, very cool.
Well, let's start with the body and we'll get into the
I
pickups.
want to start with the pickups.
Okay, let's get into the pickups.
The body is really nice.
The body is nice. So, of course, double cutaway. You've got your belly carve. You've got a really nice arm carve here. They're alder bodies, and they are... So on their website, they talk about some weird kind of acoustical treatment, and they talk about CNC machining, and they don't go into a lot of detail. But reading between the lines, here's what I'm going to say. I think they're going through and they're doing very specific targeted lightening, there you go, on these bodies in order to both kind of help with balance, help with the weight, but also do some resonance kind of stuff, which is pretty cool. Simplified controls. You've got your volume and you've got a tone with a push-pull, which splits that humbucker, which we'll get to in a second. It's a 5-way switch, so you've got all of your typical combinations of your in-between sounds and so forth, but of course that is modified by pulling that. The bridge is a nice Goto bridge. We love Goto stuff. They just make such great stuff. And then coming up here are the pickups.
Yeah, so let's start off right off the bat with the pickups. When we saw these at NAMM, again, if you haven't heard in all of our other NAMM videos, it's loud at NAMM.
Yes.
There's not much of an opportunity to play anything, so you kind of got to go based off of your trust in the manufacturer and the specs that they show you.
You can tell how it feels, and that's about it.
Yeah, so we couldn't plug these in or anything, but I did see right off the bat a very cool little R sort of signature that I know from
you recognized
other things, as that's Rupert Neve's initial. And so the pickups in here were designed with Rupert Neve. And if you know about Rupert Neve, you know that that's kind of a vote of confidence to begin with. Neve consoles, and I mean, he worked with Yamaha before with the Steinberg interfaces, with the Neve preamps. So he's a name, and he's a very well-respected name. I like the fact that they did something to set these pickups apart and didn't just do noiseless single coil generation 45. The pickups in here are the part of this guitar that I'm most excited about because they sound freaking fantastic. And with the coil split, the in-between sounds that you get and everything, it captures exactly what you'd want sound-wise out of a guitar that looks like this one. The pickups are very, very good.
And going back to the specs being the same, according to the website, they don't draw a distinction between the pickups. So it looks to be the case that these are the same pickups in either model. Rupert Neve design team collaborated pickups in both of them. And then...
Nice, comfortable.
Yep, you got a 4-bolt pattern with a really nice comfortable carve on the back here. Of course, your tremolo cavity cover right there where you can see a little bit more of what's going on. And then this brings us to the bolted on, extremely great feeling maple neck. Now this is available with either a rosewood fingerboard or a maple fingerboard. That does change the options that are available from a finish standpoint. So on the Standard Plus, there are more finishes that are available, whether you go with the rosewood or the maple. I think there's 4 to 6 finishes, something like that.
Yeah, I know they got white, blue, like a shell pink kind of thing.
Some burst
There's
finishes,
a burst, like tobacco burst, and some stuff like that. Classic colors that, make sense for these guitars.
In the case of the Pro, if I have a complaint with Yamaha, it's this. I had the same thing with the RevStar. There's 2 colors for the rosewood. It's this and a burst. And there's 2 colors with the maple, and I think it's like a white and something else. And I just want more finishes. Too much to ask.
How about the last 3 years that we've talked to these guys? How about you open up a custom shop so we can do our own stuff?
Well, they have that, but evidently you have to have like 1 million followers or something on Instagram.
Open up to us.
So let's talk about the fretboard, the frets, and what's going on here. So I like the fret markers. Very nice, different, understated, and it kind of sums up most of Yamaha's aesthetic design. Elegant and understated. It's a really nice rosewood fingerboard. They are medium frets, and they are stainless steel and compound radius.
On both.
On both. So it's a compound starting at a 10, which is just above a normal 9.5 from Fender, and flattening out to a 14, which I'm a fan of. I have a few guitars with compound radiuses on them.
And I believe that's what you'd find on the Ultras.
It is what you find on the Ultras. The benefit of doing a compound radius, and some people like compound radiuses, some people don't. A lot of modern guitars that are very fast playing guitars are going to be a pretty flat radius, over 12, usually around 15. That's a very, very flat, and that's what this gets up to, is like a 14-inch. So up here at the top of the fretboard, it's very, very flat. And that's great for single note stuff when you're soloing, because this is kind of the plane that you're working on. But a rounder radius is more comfortable for chords, and that's down here in the cash register portion of the neck where all the money gets made. Okay, you don't want a flat fingerboard there typically, because it's just not going to be ergonomically as comfortable. If you have a rounded radius all the way up, then that can limit how low you bring your action because of the arc of the frets. This comes into play more on a vintage style instrument like a vintage Fender, which is 7.25. It's a very round radius. If you bring it down too low and you attempt to bend, it will fret out on the kind of arc of the fret for the higher frets up. So the compromise here is, let's do something that's round, and slowly it gradually flattens out. And so you get the comfort down here, you get the fast playability, and you can lower the action a lot further down. So it's the best of both worlds.
Best of both worlds. And like I said, you would find that kind of compound radius on a Fender American Ultra, where you would not find stainless steel frets unless you went to an Ultra Luxe.
This is true.
And so having something in the standard line with stainless steel frets, just like the Rev Stars, very smooth, easy, playable, like completely silent, frets. It's nice. I like the headstock design, the little badge, just with the Yamaha Tuning Forks logo and the script, Pacifica.
Just a reminder, once again, that Yamaha is my favorite guitar company that also makes motorcycles and ATVs. I didn't tell you this, we had this discussion the other day with some of the guys that Yamaha really should have, for us in the music instrument world, like a bonus bucks kind of thing. Listen, Yamaha, for every guitar we sell, give us a little bit back that we can store up and buy a motorcycle with. Are you ready for this? Like an off-board motor? I think it's great. Anyways, food for thought, Yamaha.
Yeah, lastly, Goto locking tuners.
Goto locking tuners, which
That's
is
good stuff.
Awesome stuff, yeah. So, and I will say, when it comes to tremolos and stability of tuning, there's usually two schools of thought. I'll go with either one. But one school is you have a locking nut and you have a locking bridge that's like your Floyd Rose setup. They're very stable. They're just problematic when it comes to restringing. A lot of people have issues with them. Not me, but other people.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah. But the other way to do it is this. You've got a traditional tremolo setup with locking tuners, and so you don't have wraps on there, and it's less likely to cause some issues. So as long as you lube your nut.
You got to lube up that nut, and which is exactly what I did when I put these through their paces. These things both play very, very comfortably. They sound great. Both going through the Blues Junior. They should sound very similar to you. I did play different things on both because I don't think it's one of those things where you got to hear the difference in two wood pairings or anything. Just give you some different ideas how these things can roll. Let's take a listen.
So there you have it. Great sounding, great playing. We talked about the radius. We didn't talk about the neck. It's just a fast playing, satin finish, like shallow C. This is like your modern guitar that you can play blues or just shred with.
Yeah. Now we have seen, that's a really nice rosewood board.
It's a really nice rosewood board.
We have seen in the past few years, Yamaha really made the Rev Stars a real thing that are great. After that, we saw them do an FG9, which is, as you know, if you watch the channel at all, we love that guitar. And that took them into some different kind of territory. They have always had nice high-end acoustics, but that was like making the splash. We're competing with other similarly spec'd out guitars that are in the similar price range of the $4,000 area of acoustic guitars.
Right.
And that is the thing that's tough for some people to adopt, is that they are going to spend $4,000 on Yamaha acoustic when their first Yamaha acoustic they got from us 10 years ago, and it was $229.
Yeah.
Like an FG 800 or something. But there's very few brands that can do it all really well. Yamaha is one of the brands that we really trust their entry-level guitars and motorcycles and
trumpets and
everything. I mean, they do it all, right? So you get a $250 guitar, and then you hop up and you get yourself an $800 guitar, and then you get a red label that's like $16.99 or whatever.
Yeah.
And you can comfortably move all the way up the line. I think that's what they're doing with these guitars. They're competing with those boutique brands. Obviously, they're competing with the Stratocaster here, but I would imagine that Yamaha's shooting even higher, saying that we're competing with Sur and
like boutique
PRS,
shops,
and because it has a lot of those features and the build quality. I mean, these are two sample guitars that I think have probably gone to some other dealers and probably been used in photography and at shows and stuff, and they're perfect. I mean, they're awesome. The setups are great. They're good to go. So I think that they've done a very, very great job with these guitars.
So let me ask you this. So one of the things I noticed between them, because we talked about the specs are the same, country of origin is different, gig bag case, price is different. So this is currently $1349 for the standard plus, and price subject to change. Check our website at alamomusic.com. All the lawyers should be happy now. And then that's
Like 2,100
or $20.99, something like that.
something like that.
You can check our website at alamomusic.com.
Yeah.
I notice as we switch guitars, as we typically do, this one feels heavier.
Yeah, I would agree.
As you were playing them for your demo, did you notice a difference in feel?
Not really. That's the one I played first, and I think I could have. I mean, I was talking with Casey about it. Casey, our guitar tech that we mentioned on the channel a lot.
Loves these already.
He walked in and he loves these, and he does not say that about a ton of guitars.
No.
He digs them a lot. I mean, he does play Revstar too, so he's a big Yamaha fan.
Yeah, I told him, I said, hey, Casey, something up your alley in the studio. It's the new Pacificas. And he's like, oh, yeah, go check them out.
And he walks in and he just goes, and you're like, there we go. You got the seal of approval. I honestly think, I mean, the setup on them both are great. Part of it is if I was blindfolded, I probably couldn't tell the difference in
It's really close.
playing them. I love the all white. I think that look is just
pretty classic.
Great. Yeah, it's classic. I'm not a big blue guitar fan. However,
I like blue guitars.
I dig it. I think for me, I would want the Pro because I like the made in Japan stuff, and that's partially just a bias because I would take that any day.
The logo is nicer on it.
That one?
No, just flip it over.
Oh.
Right?
Wow. That's wild.
There you go.
Because that one's thinner, so that was cheaper for them to do. No, I think they're both great. I would. Oh yeah, well now I see it. That's
You
like
see
a
it?
metallic.
Yeah, it's like a foil applique versus like a
That's like an Ultra.
ink. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're both good. I think that you can make a case for either one. That's going to come in a little bit less than a American Professional Strat.
Yeah,
you know?
so this is like $300 less than an American Pro 2 Stratocaster, okay, with arguably better specifications, made overseas. And by the way, if I'm going to get on my soapbox for a little bit, I think this is the place for guitars that are made overseas outside of Japan. Japan, we consider guitars to be a premium, and we know that the cost to make them there is pretty comparable to what it is in the U.S. Guitars made in China or Indonesia, typically the cost of labor is lower, so the guitar should be less expensive. Right?
Yes.
So that's how I see things. Unless they're paying those workers the same amount. Cool. I fully support that. But anyways, I digress. So yeah, this is less, as it should be, less expensive than a Pro 2 with really, really nice features. And a gig bag, which is cool.
And this one is rivaling Ultras. It's definitely going to be less than most boutique Super Strats out there.
Well, and really to do the closest comparison in the Fender lineup, you'd have to compare it to an Ultra Luxe.
Yeah.
Which there's about as many finish options there too. Go figure. To get the stainless steel frets, and those are more expensive than this guitar again.
And if you get an Ultra Luxe HSS, I'm pretty sure you're looking at a Floyd as well. Mm-hmm. Right?
I think so.
I could be wrong on that. I think that's correct. There's just so many things out there now. But I do think these are a welcome addition to the lineup. I'm interested in seeing how people accept the fact that they have a $2,000 Pacifica that I think is worth every penny.
Do you think some people might just turn their nose up at the fact that it's a Pacifica?
Yeah, I mean, it's partially for me. It's becoming less of a, for those who know, but like Japanese-made instruments are as good and sometimes better than American-made instruments in some cases. I mean, Red Labels, FG9s, and the Revstar Pros have proven that those are high caliber, awesome instruments. I just think.
Well, you see how it is with other brands. Gretsch Pro stuff's Japan, right? A lot of the Jackson stuff's Japan. You've got the high-end Ibanez stuff's come out of Japan, and it's all commanding that same premium because they're really well-made guitars.
Yeah. So I think the big takeaway is you won't be able to play either of these exact guitars because we're sending them back to Yamaha. But we will have them in the store. Ideally, you can come in and play them, or you can find a place near you and put your hands on them and get the proof that they are very nice guitars.
Yep.
And remember, in the year 2024, you have more options than the one guitar that started this look.
That's right. It was a great blueprint over 80 years ago, or 70 years ago.
Exactly.
That's the anniversary.
Yeah.
It was a great blueprint, and a lot of builders have followed suit and created some great things. So yeah, options are good. I think options drive innovation and hopefully pressure manufacturers to build better and better things. Yeah, I like competition. So I think we've got some competition. I'd like to know what they think in the comments. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you got Rupert Neve on the team, it's got to be some pretty tough competition.
The ghost of
you know
Rupert
what I'm
Neve.
saying?
Because he's dead.
If you want to learn more about the guitar,
Rupert Neve design team. Anyways, so yeah, cool guitars. So let's. I was just wondering the whole time we were doing the video, like, does Cooper know he's dead?
he's out there in here, dude.
He's in our hearts and in our pickups. So anyways, let us know what you think. I do want to know in the comments if you like just turn your nose up. It's a great guitar. Yeah, I would be caught dead playing Pacifica on stage. Or
Go
if
back
you're
to
down
your-
with it.
Yeah.
What were you saying?
No, I was gonna. It's gonna lay in the day I'm getting mean.
Anyways,
Yeah.
if you are here for Mean Cooper, make sure you subscribe, you turn on notifications, like our videos, and make sure to stay tuned, not just to this channel, but to our website as we get these in so that you will be the first to know. In fact, you can sign up for alerts on our site for email stuff. And when we get stuff in, we send that out too. So, as always, we want to thank you for watching, you and the Ghost of Rupert Neve. We'll see you next time.